Hey everyone, it's Lori and Spagna here with you today to share some information about the realms of the Akash and to help people better understand how the sixth dimensional reality governs us. So the sixth dimensional reality is a frequency bandwidth, a range of frequency, a vibration where various consciousness is stored, consciousness, awareness. It's not just awareness and consciousness aren't the same thing, but nonetheless, for terminology, we'll allow that to be so for right now. So when we're talking about sixth dimensional frequency, that range is primarily designed to govern and support the reality we exist in and to help us to navigate it. So in this sixth dimensional reality, we have the universal laws, which if you want to know more about that, watch my video on the universal laws and also head over to lorispagna.com and get the sacred membership. There's a whole course in there about that, worth its weight in gold, how to use them or how they work for us in 5D. And then also in the sixth dimensional reality, what we have is the Akashic Records. By the way, in sixth dimensional reality, we also have lots of angels, benevolent beings in the non-physical world. They typically, many of them are able to traverse, many of them into higher dimensional realms. Not all of them, but many of them. And they also can sort of so-called dip down, so to speak, even though it's not linear, into lower dimensional realms. For example, when you first start waking up, you start connecting with angels. But that's typically in a fourth dimensional space, right? Because they'll come into that reality to assist us to wake up. So angels, ascended masters who definitely do not live in 4D and can certainly go beyond 60, way beyond 60, but they'll interact in that range, right? So ascended masters, angels, angel gods are connected to the divine source directly. Benevolent beings, right? Other benevolent beings in the non-physical world. Even our loved ones often could reside in before they incarnate or choose to incarnate again. They could reside in a sixth dimensional range, although that's typically not their place they would stay. The primary role of the sixth dimensional reality is typically for universal laws, the realms of the Akash, and often other beings, for example, lords of karma. So today we want to specifically speak about the realms of the Akash and the Akashic Records. And the records, of course, are energetic frequencies, ranges of frequency of light and sound, which we could call energetic information and energy overall, to help us navigate our way and come into alignment. So they're storing up information and energy for us. And they store up records of our existence. Actually, they store up everything that's ever been said or done by anyone or anything. So, for example, one of the fun things about the records is like, if you want to read a book and you want to buy that book, and I suggest you do in that case, because it's important to follow that, but the information of that book actually exists in the records too. So, everything that's ever existed exists in the records. And good, bad, evil, right, wrong, happiness, joy, like all energy of consciousness and states of consciousness is stored there as some form of information and energy. And when you learn how to access it, it's sort of like infinite knowledge, infinite wisdom. It's in there. As long as it's 6D or 5D, 4D, 3D, like it's essentially 60 frequency ranges, right? Up to 60 frequency ranges. If you want to go beyond that, you can, but it might not necessarily be stored in the records unless you bring it with you into the physical world, that's what I do. That's one of the things I do. Accessing consciousness way beyond 60 and bringing it in and translating it here. So everybody can benefit. So when we're talking about these realms of the Akash, so if you've got something going on in your life that you're trying to resolve, those records will be able to help you to access the information about it, to gain more clarity, wisdom, insight, knowledge, and certainly to resolve it, because the solutions are there for you too. This is why it's so important, helpful, and beneficial to understand the Akashic Records. You don't want to get lost in there, so to speak, because it's just, I mean, it's infinite, right? In a sense, in its own way. There's an infinite aspect of it, because it's our whole reality is kind of in there in a sense. At the same time, we are cleaning it up. We're cleaning it up because we're transmuting things as we level up out of 3D and into 5D. So it's got this kind of paradoxical nature to it, because in a sense, on one level, everything that has ever existed and ever will exist is stored there. On another level, we're cleaning it up and transmuting it, that old density out of it, as we up level into 5D, because it no longer, in a sense, it's transmuted. It's returned to source. In other words, it can be cleared out and cleaned up. And so this is kind of a high level concept, but if this makes sense to you, awesome. And if it doesn't, I would advise you to, number one, look at some of the other videos. It'll start to sink in more on this channel. And also head over to LoriSpagna.com and join the Sacred membership. You'll get tons more information about this, and you'll even learn how to access the records. In fact, I teach a whole course about it. 2 whole courses, a level 1 and a level 2 on the Akashic Records. But the point is to understand that consciousness is conscious. There's information here for us to access that we've been unaware of, that we have access to, that we are able to access and to use for our greater good, and to help us to restore ourselves to new alignment with the divine, to 5th dimensional reality, and to resolve our old unresolved issues that we've not been able to resolve. It's stored up there for us, and there are beings and laws in a 6th dimensional reality that are there to help us as individuations of source, as we're leveling up, and as we're coming into this new paradigm known as the 5th dimensional reality. Okay, I hope that is helpful for you. And I would love to hear your comments below. And please like and subscribe to the channel and share the video with others who will benefit as well, because this information I know is very, very progressive and not typically in the mainstream. But as humanity is awakening and shifting over to the new paradigm, many people will find this to be very helpful and beneficial to them. I just want to say, those records are storing up solutions for you, whatever's going on. That's why it's so important. It's just so important to understand that we have access to things we never realized before. All right, you guys, thanks so much. Love you. See you next time. Bye-bye.